The classic American snub-nose revolver and the Wadcutter ammo. I've been asked a lot of times to do some ballistics tests with Wadcutters and see how they perform. Now the thing about Wadcutters, the whole general concept is that when you're talking a 38 special, especially standard pressure, you often don't see hollow point expansion. So the thought process is, well, with a Wadcutter bullet, because it's so flat and squared off, it doesn't need to expand because when it hits, it's going to tear through tissue, so it's going to do some pretty good damage without expansion. And we'll put that to the test and see what it does to water jugs and wood, run some velocity numbers on these. Now when we talk about Wadcutter ammo, generally what we're talking about is hollow base Wadcutters for target practice. A lot of people say you can load them backwards. I can't find those, but I did get some double-ended solid Wadcutters. Now from my understanding, you can push these a little bit faster. However, I did not push them fast at all. You're going to see that in the chronograph results. You're going to be kind of surprised with how slow these shoot, but they do shoot real well. They're very accurate and they're very little recoil, and that's perfect for this test, because what we're trying to see is what kind of penetration and damage can we get with a Wadcutter, even if we don't have a lot of energy behind it, because it is very sharp. Now I know as a child I did a lot of testing with Wadcutter versus round nose versus hollow point pellets and pellet guns, and I did see a lot of difference with Wadcutter pellets and how they affected small game and what they did to targets. Pretty significantly different, but will that translate into performing well in a snub-nose revolver at such a low velocity? And you'll see how low these velocities actually are. So let's put it to the test. We'll compare it to this Winchester Super X 125 grain plus P hollow point, a classic load. It's not weak load. It's not a weak load. It's not super powerful either. It's just kind of in the middle of the road. We'll see how they compare. So let's run these through the chronograph, see what kind of numbers we're getting, see what it does to water jugs and wood. So let's get started. All right, let's run that Winchester Super X classic jacketed hollow point plus P through the chronograph, see what kind of numbers we're getting out of this little gun. .856. 791, 854, 821, 822. So a little bit less powerful than a lot of the plus P loads I run through this type of gun. Well, let's see how those Wadcutters compare. Wadcutters loaded at a target loading. 645, 587, 616, 627, 580. So very low power. However, they felt like a .22 caliber. So it'd be a very good round for somebody that's kind of recoil sensitive. Let me toss a couple of rounds at the target and see how they compare in accuracy. All right, here's the Super X plus P from about 5 yards. Let's see what I get on some headshots at that target. Not bad, a little bit left for me. Let's see how those Wadcutters compare. I was kind of popping them off. Seemed pretty good to me. Now let's see what it does to water jugs and wood. Here's that Super X jacketed hollow point. I don't have denim on this. I don't feel it's necessary for this particular comparison test. So let's see what we get if we get any hollow point expansion. All right, not bad. 1, 2, 3. Got a hole in the 4th jug. Got a hole in the 5th jug too. So out the back of the 4th, this is what we're getting. So overall, it's pretty good performance. I would say it's a good balance, actually, for expansion to penetration, because 4 jugs of water, roughly 24 inches of water roughly equates to about 12 inches of ballistics gel. It's not an exact science, but that's roughly what it equates to. You know, so we're getting about 12 inches of ballistics gel, and we got enough expansion to slow it down. That's a little bit of everything you want with a nice 38 load. And it's not overly powerful or weak either. It's a good middle of the road round. So let's see how it compares to the Wadcutter. I got 6 fresh jugs, and I put a couple extra from the last one on the back just in case. I don't know what it's going to do. It might penetrate far, but however, it's not very powerful either, so we'll see. That shot water right back at me pretty hard. That was weird. So what we got here, 1 clean hole through. Pretty good expansion on that jug there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have it in the 5th jug. It damaged the 6th jug. Well, a little bit more penetration, which, you know, I don't look at the energy numbers yet, but I'm thinking that's barely over 100 foot-pounds of energy. And we got what you would expect to see, just a slug. Looks as if this was the front impacting point. Actually, no, this would have been because I loaded it with the lube on the bottom. So this is the front where it impacted. And you see a lot of good grooves in that bullet actually. So, you know, it's obviously a .358 diameter. It's getting good accuracy. And we saw that with the target, you know. Very good accuracy, and if you're making a headshot with something like that, that's probably all you're going to need. Let's hit the wood and see how that compares. Alright, we'll hit up here at the 125 grain plus P, see what kind of momentum we get and penetration on that wood. So here's that Winchester Super X. Threw it pretty good. Right here, this is my marker, that's how far it threw it. Alright, let's see how that Wadcutter compares. I'll hit it in about the same elevation so that we get the same amount of throw fairness here. You know, it pushed it about the same. That's pretty good. Both of them are in there. Here's one with the here's that jacketed hollow point. Here's the Wadcutter. Jacketed hollow point, it's shredding up a little bit, and we got it embedded in board 2. The Wadcutter, even though it's not embedded in it, it's pretty much the same penetration into that second board. That's really, really cool. And here's the bullet coming out the back of board 1. Now, neither of these are much for penetration, so you can't count on either of these to really punch through something hard. So even though it's a Wadcutter and it doesn't expand, you're going to have to put more energy behind it before you think it's going to punch through a car door or something. So overall, I'd say it's a nice, useful round. It seems to perform really, really well for the amount of recoil it has. I'm going to launch a few of them out at my tank. I'm about 35 to 40 yards from my little propane tank. I'm going to see if I can hit it with the Snubby. Alright, we're about 40 yards from that tank. I'll see if I can hit it with a few rounds of this. I haven't attempted this yet, so 5 rounds. We'll just see if I can do it at all, even once. Well, let's see. Four to 5 ain't bad. Yeah, I had to aim a little bit above it, which is pretty common for this particular gun. But there's two things going on here. One is you're not expecting a recoil impulse, so it's kind of easier to just kind of let them go and get good accuracy at that range. But also you're dealing with a 358 diameter bullet, not a 357 like a jacketed. So you're getting more of that rifling grip on the bullet, so you're going to have a little bit more accuracy. And even though we're at 40 yards, we're getting good accuracy. So overall, my opinion of the Wadcutter load, I think it's something that you could potentially use. I would say in comparison to, let's say, any 22 on the market, even a 22 Magnum, I think you're going to be better off in the same power range with a 650 feet per second 148 grain Wadcutter. So it's not for everybody, it's not the best load out there, but it seems to be in a pinch, it'll do pretty much what you need it to do. It's penetrating as much as these jacketed hollow points through the water jugs, through the wood, and you're still dealing with a 35 caliber sharp flat nosed bullet. So I would say that there's going to be some effectiveness that's pretty good with something like this. I wouldn't dismiss it altogether and say it's only a target load. You know, and this is the starting charge that I'm running here. Starting. This is a classic 2.7 grains of any given powder. That was the load for this particular load as well. And we can push them a little bit faster than what I was pushing them. So you could potentially get up into that 800 feet per second mark. More realistically, maybe 750 feet per second with a 148 grain. Significantly increase that energy foot-pounds to somewhere probably around 180, 175 foot-pounds energy. Overall, I think it's a choice. It's a choice that you could use, you could utilize if it's all you had, and the recoil is very, very low. So we're going to get quicker follow-up shots. So that's just a classic Wadcutter versus jacketed hollow point. So as always, thanks for watching. I appreciate my subscriber base. Comment, share, and like. And again, thanks for watching. So, peace.